Hello everyone, imagine you can build your thumbnails from viral templates such as Mr. Beast. Today we're going to build that. This is Nicholas and we're going to continue to build a product from start to finish. We're currently building a thumbnail generator app and we are extending our backend. We're also going to set the base for a subscription model. We're going to implement usage limits and usage counts to make this product a real business. We're going to implement now a function that is saving templates. No one wants to start from scratch. Everybody wants to save different layouts, different templates, and start working from there. So let's open Claude and start implementing. Also quickly, important to mention, I let the last agent create a handover document. That way, this agent doesn't need to review all the code base and understand where we are. It's a very good way to give the next agent like a brief, a summary, what happened last time, and it can work from there. That way the context window that is limited to 1 million tokens, I believe, doesn't fill up so much, and the research is much shorter, and the Claude agent gets a much quicker idea with less tokens used. So I'm going to give him the prompt with Whisperflow. Hello, so today we're going to implement templates. I want to create a new table in our backend called templates, and I want the user to be able to save a certain thumbnail as a private template or a public template. So we need also a new page in the front end to use templates to start the workflow. Before you do so, please have a look in the hand of docs folder. There is a folder called templates and usage tiers. This includes a summary from the last agent of what the agent did and what we're planning to do now. All right, let's send this off. So once the agent is done analyzing the current backend structure, I'm sure he will give me a SQL code that we're going to go into the SQL editor in Supabase, and we're going to create another table. Currently, we have two tables. We have the user table that registers every user with, well, the username, the email, the password, and a unique user ID. Then we have the thumbnails table that saves all the metadata and all the data regarding thumbnails and the URL. The thumbnails itself, they're saved in a so-called bucket. And so you can create the gallery, pulling the information from the bucket, as well as from the table, such as thumbnail name and other metadata. And that's our current backend setup. So now we will create another table called templates. And then we can also store those templates, I'm sure, maybe in the same bucket. Let's see, or if we need to create another bucket. And then this table will have all the templates connected to the user ID of the particular user. So the user can have private templates for himself, and then there will also be public templates. I guess those are not connected to any user. Those are just publicly saved in a community tab that anybody can have a look and see successful thumbnails or nice thumbnails for inspiration and can start iterating from there. So that's the idea. Let's wait until the agent finishes analysis where we stand and then gives us more instructions to follow and to go step by step on creating templates. Seems like the agent is already starting to add some functionality on the front end. I was hoping the agent would first come up with a plan and some instructions so we can prepare everything, but it seems to me he's already implementing some functionality. I will stop the agent for now. So I stopped the agent for a second because it started already doing the front end implementation. And I asked him whether I should have not, priorly to that, have actually created the Supabase table, the templates table. And it told me, yes, that's correct. It would have been a good idea. However, we can also simultaneously create the table. He has created an MD file here in the migration that has the SQL code that I need to run. So we can create the table and it will continue to implement the front end, and then we can go straight to the testing phase. Well, why not? Let's try that process like that. Sure, go ahead and implement. I, in the meanwhile, will create the table in Supabase. All right, so this agent will be coding along while we will here copy all the SQL code that it gave me. Command copy. We will open here our Supabase project that we have created a couple of episodes ago. Have a look in case you have missed that. All right, and we're going to the SQL editor. We're gonna open a new tab and we're gonna copy paste the SQL code. And then we're gonna, oh, it's all here, okay. And then we're gonna run, and then it should say down here, success, no rows returned. Very good. Let's check quickly on the table editor, and we see that there is another table being created that says templates, which has thumbnail URL, template data, is public, yes or no. All right, got it. That looks pretty good to me. All right, that easy. With the SQL code, you can create tables like that. If the agent gives it to you, fantastic. Let's see what the agent has done here in the meanwhile. It's asking me to continue editing the front end. Now let's add the save template button. Okay, very nice. Let's do that. It's still crazy to me how powerful this AI coding stuff is. Honestly, a few weeks ago, I had no clue of coding. I had no idea of anything. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have started several companies, but I never coded anything myself in my life. I always had a tech team behind me. So since I started my journey with this AI coding, I was able to create projects and websites pretty quickly. I don't think it's too difficult. The agent guides you through step by step in a very great way, and you get the results very quickly. So I can just recommend it. If you have a look of how we started our journey a couple of videos back, you will realize we started with very little knowledge and step by step, and now we're creating our first real product that we're going to ship live, and you're all here to follow along with the process. Okay, the agent is done. Let's see. Perfect. Now let me update the to-do list. Template system implementation is complete. Okay. Their database migration, it happened. Template service, template routes, service integration. Front end, a bunch of changes, user flow. Okay. Honestly, let's try this out. Okay, great. We logged into our account. The gallery view from last project is still working. There's some thumbnails that we saved in the testing phase. We can create a thumbnail. Okay, give me a blue mountain, please. We generate that picture, and let's see how we're gonna save it then to our template. It's generated, very nice. Ah yeah, here there's a save as template. If we click that, template name, mountains, mountains, description optional, make this public. No, I want to save it here. Then we go to templates, and the template was created, very nice, in our private templates. In the public templates, there's nothing yet. I'm sure that will work too. Let's use the template, and look at that. It is loading into our thumbnail generator. Well, very nice. I'm very, very happy with our template creation. Let's move to the next step. Now that we have created the cool template feature, we're gonna go another step of pushing our project to a final product that we can actually launch, which is we're gonna limit the usage to different tiers. I think this is very important. Obviously, generating a thumbnail using my API key from Gemini it's cost me a few cents per creation. So obviously in the free tier, I want to limit the usage, and then I will have maybe a basic and a professional tier. Let's see what Claude can come up with, and we can implement those changes. You're going to be tasked with creating different user tiers and limiting the usage of the application. Generally, my idea is to create 3 different tiers: the free tier, a creator tier, and a studio or professional tier, each of which has different limits in creating thumbnails, iterating thumbnails, using and creating templates, and so on. I want you to study briefly the cost analysis and pricing, MD, just to get a better feel of what we're talking about, and then suggest 3 different tiers with different limits. Before you start implementing it, please communicate your plan, and we can revise together. Once we have agreed on the strategy, we would need to update the Supabase user table, that we would need to add plan column. We would also need to add a usage count per month and whatever else you might think is necessary. Okay, this was a long prompt. So it parsed the text. Once I send it, we can read it here. And let's see what the agent will come up with a plan. The agent has completed his analysis and came up with a plan. Let's quickly revise it together. Perfect. Now I have a complete understanding. Let me propose a tier structure based on the cost analysis. All right. Monthly cost 0, limits, thumbnail generation 10 per month, template creation 3 personal templates, template usage, unlimited use of public templates, thumbnail iterations, 2 iterations per thumbnail, storage 30 days, all in 3 modes, then $9.99 per month, which is fair, 75 per month, 15 personal templates, 5 iterations per thumbnail. Okay, and then the studio professional tier, 250 per month, 50 personal templates, 10 iterations per thumbnail. Okay, I like the tiers that we suggested. However, I would prefer the iterations to be slightly higher for each tier. So maybe we can just add a few to each tier. Other than that, we are good. The agent is coding away to implement that on the front end side, but it has created here on the left some files that we can already use for our SQL commands. So we're creating a user profiles table. Let's copy the code. We copy the code and we're going to go to our Supabase project. In Supabase, we're going to go to SQL editor. We're going to add a new tab. We can actually start closing our old ones. All right, there you go. Let's start here fresh. And we're going to paste our code and we're going to run it. Let's see, run, success. So we go to table editor and we see here we have users and we have user profiles. Okay, that's another table that we have created. Let's go back to cursor and let's create the usage tracking table. We can also copy that and create it in the back end and go back to our project. Again, go to the SQL editor, open a new tab, paste the code. I have to say, I absolutely love that process. Since the AI is giving me the entire code, I basically don't have to create those tables myself and it goes so fast. It seems to me like a very fun way to build the backend out. I hope you guys agree. So we go again to tables and look at that. We have another table created. Perfect. We have usage tracking. If we look at it, user ID, period start, period end, thumbnails created. Looks good to me. And user profiles, the user ID, subscription, current period, Stripe customer ID. Very nice. That seems perfect to me. Let's go back here and see that the cursor agent is finishing the coding. Now the agent is creating the backend API routes. As already mentioned one time, we have the front end, we have the back end, and in between those two, in the middle, we have API routes that connect the two, and it acts like a middle layer, another security layer. Yeah, basically a layer in between that makes communication even more secure. This is a big preparation step for next episode where we're going to implement Stripe payment method. Again, step by step, we are increasing our backend. We're going to make our product more sophisticated and getting it ready step by step to be a full production ready shippable product. The agent has finished what I've successfully implemented the backend infrastructure for 3-tier subscription system. Here's what has been completed. Completed backend implementation, database migrations, backend service, the middleware, the API routes, and the integration of 3, the 3.15. Okay, we can adjust those maybe a little bit later, but generally a good start. So we're back in the SQL editor and we're going to run a SQL code that should connect my user profile to a free tier. So now we can actually test it. Success, no rows returned. The agent has finished and look, we have user profiles, which is my user profile. I'm currently in the free tier and we have a table of usage tracking that currently says I have generated one thumbnail. If we now go here and start fresh and generate me a thumbnail of a beautiful ocean. For example, we generate that ocean thumbnail. Let's wait till it is generated. Thumbnail successfully generated. Interesting picture. But the important part, if we go here now in the usage tracking and we refresh, it should say 2 thumbnails created. Fantastic. So we have set up tiers and we have set up usage tracking. Absolutely amazing. As you just saw, we added private and public templates, as well as different subscription tiers. We laid the foundation with usage limits. These are massive steps to make this product a real business. I hope you enjoy following along. Please subscribe and leave a comment.